So as we go into the Lean Six Sigma methodology, I kind of want to remind us a little bit of a good tool, especially when we start to clean up our processes and organizing, as organization is key to process improvement. You know, you'll start to see that organization happen when you start mapping the process. But then we go to the 5S methodology. Now, it was updated a couple years ago to 6S. I'll explain why. But number one, the first S represents removing unnecessary equipment in the workstation. So you're going to sort that. That involves red tagging items, removing space or the junk that gets in your way. The next is straightening, organizing the remaining equipment. Then you have Shine, where we clean the workspace to ensure safety and efficiency. The next thing we do is standardize, and we make above effort samples policies for the team. How do we stabilize the process? Sample policies, meaning those SOP guidelines. And how do we sustain it? Keeping up with all the established guidelines. Now, they threw safety in there because it'll increase efficiency, but why? Well, essentially, safety leads to more stable processes, as a safer operation for workers will make them work more efficiently. Overall, the 5S methodology, or 6S as it's known, is a good tool to think of when you think of organizational stability and organization processes. Now, and when we go to this, our next tool that we talk about is the fishbone diagram. Now, in the fishbone diagram, here's the thing. We can see the issues, and we talked about this in the last several videos ago, but we see the issues, and then we have the effect. So an example of this is a car engine failure. So you have cause and effect. You know, the overall effect is the insurance won't start, right? The engine won't start. And this is from an automotive insurance standpoint. But how do you utilize this to improve your process? Well, we can put everybody together as a team and identify the issues in the organization, and then we can categorize it. This isn't a tool we utilize to rank the issues, but we use this tool to build off of it, especially when we talk about our improvement phase and setting up the ideology for improvement. Just-in-time manufacturing, or just-in-time processes, is the ability to a production strategy aiming to minimize inventory and streamlining processes. We look from removing a single piece flow operation to Judoku, which is balancing it through automation and creating a batch flow process. In the upper belt levels, we get into the statistics behind one piece over multi-piece or batch flow movement. But essentially, just in time, it's manufacturing, conveying what is needed, when it's needed, in the amount that is needed, at the quality required, and in the shortest possible lead time. This is where we take into account something called takt time, which is your customer's required time to meet their product demand. You know, when we think about leveling our process, how do we pull that system? How do we pull that product through our system? Just in time has several different components of it, but the benefits of it are receiving and reducing those lead times, reducing that stock, that overhead stock, and making secure and competitive pricing by reducing those costs. You can improve cash flow operations and cash flow in your organizational process because you don't have that inventory taking up your space. And you can stock better and forecast and anticipate better stock outs, or you can prevent better stock outs and preventing those issues from occurring. Just-in-time inventory is talking about bringing the right material, the right time, the right place, and the exact amount. We don't want to have to worry about lead times. We don't want to have to worry about stocking stresses. We don't want to have to worry about the excess inventory or the cost of storing that excess inventory. And just-in-time helps us identify that in our processes. The next thing on our viewpoint is something called Kanban, right? It's a good Lean and Six Sigma Agile tool, right? Kanban is a Lean methodology originating from Japan, and it was highly regarded in the Toyota production system, as it's a way we can code problems and create a visual card to move on to the next phase in the development. Now, we do this as work in progress, and we can optimize the flow of work to improve efficiency and produce productivity. In a Kanban system, work items are represented as cards, or I've seen them mostly as sticky notes. But the Kanban board, which typically consists of columns representing different stages of the workflow, the basic working operation that I've put together, or you can use as an example and kind of code this, is to-do list, what's work in progress, and what's been completed, right? This gives the team the overall awareness, and we can visualize the workflow. The Kanban board provides a visual representation of that workflow, making it easier for team members to see the status of the work at a glance. This transparency helps in identifying bottlenecks, prioritizing tasks, and maintaining alignment among the team. The next thing we talk about is the Toyota production system. The Toyota production system is a way we can look at our processes and understand them, right? Toyota production system is an integral social technological system developed by Toyota. It embodies its management philosophies and practices and its renowned approach in efficiency, quality, and waste reduction principles. This is where we talk about that just-in-time, or that JIDOKO, that automation in the process. We can continuously evolve our process in standardizing the workflow, thus creating stability in our process. In our Lean Six Sigma classes, we go into this a little bit more in depth, where we talk about the production system and, they're separating that human and work component of it to create overall efficiency. Now, when we talk about the next thing, it's standardizing our workflow, or our batch assembly, right? Creating that assembly as a standard working layout. Now, in Lean Six Sigma, I've done several different approaches to this, but I have a lot more experience as a plant layout specialist. So I'll go into organizations and help them improve their optimization by either relocating their assembly line to a different plant, especially for an organization that outgrew their building, or I help them streamline their efficiencies in their actual operations. So we'll move the order of things, move things around to have a more balanced flow. The whole idea here is to create predictability and sustainability with that predictability. The last thing in Lean tools that I want to talk about are several different aspects of this, but it basically revolves around Kaizen. Now, Kaizen is a constant philosophy of improving. Every day is an opportunity to improve, even if it's only by 1%. It's not about being invincible. It's about being unstoppable. Now, Kaizen events are a culmination of everything you've just done, right? This is where we get our team on board with the changes that we've been working behind the door, or hopefully in a open floor format, and bringing everybody into it. Kaizen events are a 5-day schedule, and this isn't a book answer, but you have to get some type of traction going, and usually week-long evolutions are very good to get a good baseline approach and create a future metric for your operation. Monday, that's where we're going to get the employees involved, and we're going to define that project charter to them using graphs, listing and getting that coalition of people. Tuesday, this is where we want to probably brainstorm or create a cause and effect issues, where we start talking about issues in the organization. Once they label those issues, we then conduct another department meeting or a company approach, and we encourage solutions to those meetings. This is where we talk about brainstorming, and we'll get into that later when we get into the improvement phase. But Thursday, we're going to pilot those solutions, or at least one of them, and then document our results on Friday and see what kind of baseline we established. Now, keep in mind, your improvement's not going to change over a week. It's not going to change over 2 weeks. It sometimes takes a while to see the tangible benefits of a Six Sigma project. But you can sometimes see the intangible benefits, and that's going to be collaboration, teamwork. You start to see you're not going to have just a revolving doors of employees if you put people on a focus point to harness that teamwork approach. Now, a good tool for Kaizen is something called Poka-yoke or Poka-yoke, however you want to classify it. It basically means mistake proofing, and it's an error prevention strategy. Poka-yoke, or an error proofing method, aims to prevent mistakes or defects before they result in a defect. Now, some strategies would be physical design changes, maybe some visual cues, some checklists and signatures for approval before going to the next step. Anon is a visual management tool used to signal problems or abnormalities in the system. You then have error proofing devices. This is where you could put in, jigs and fixtures to mitigate the issue. You could put warning signs, warning alarms, letting somebody know an error has occurred, and that maybe shuts down the assembly line so it can be further evaluated, or shut down your process so it can be further evaluated. Your Poka-yoke should be a part of your standard operating procedures, with the documentation on the last page for corrective actions and additions to the versions of your standard operating procedure. This should be an element in your onboarding process, and I mean training and educating the people that come on board. Teach them how to solve problems, and it's going to reduce a lot of headaches for you. The benefits of implementing Poka-yoke strategies lead to reducing defects, improved quality, and enhancing process efficiency. I have seen Poka-yoke devices reduce errors up to 90% in some issues. Poka-yoke is a critical aspect of lean manufacturing, and it's ensuring error-free operation for customer satisfaction. Now, Poka-yoke is a simple concept that's often used in manufacturing. It means mistake proofing. It's a concept of adding simple design features that make it almost impossible for an error to occur. Now, there's 6 aspects of this, and I want you to take in consideration. We have elimination. How do we eliminate the problem? Okay, if we can't eliminate it, how do we prevent it from occurring? Maybe there's a replacement process or machine we can put in place to replace the error. What type of facilitation are we doing to improve that process? How are we going to detect if an error occurs? And of course, mitigation is, we know an error is going to occur, but as leaders, we have to figure out how to make it not so detrimental to the process. Poka-yoke is prevention-based and detection based. You know, prevention based, you're using 100% of prevention devices. Some examples here are pins, contoured locators, proximity or photoelectronic sensors, some limit or micro switches, warning lights or buzzers, pressure sensors, and visual systems. Detection-based Poka-Yoke is you're ensuring 100% detection of the mistake. This is where you'll have electronic sensors, some color-coded parts, contact devices, fixture limit switches, some non-contact devices such as LEDs or pressure sensors, and then you have visual systems that can help us detect if an error occurs. Now, some techniques: shutdown, control, warning, right? Prevention, a mistake's about to be made. In the control aspect of it, prevention, we have errors are impossible. Warning, something's about to be made. Detection, a mistake or defect has been made. Defective item can't be moved on to the next step by controlling it. And we can implement and immediately address when something goes wrong. Now, Poka-Yoke, the 6 principles of it are elimination, prevention, replacement, facilitation, detection, and mitigation. The top ones are going to be preventional errors of human error. And the last one are going to be minimize efforts or minimize effects after occurrence of that human error. You know, overall, when we can fix issues, we can improve efficiency in our operation. And that is the exact reason that Poka-Yoke and other tools of Lean Six Sigma are so good at improving our operational efficiency. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.